Hello everybody, welcome to the Outreach Committee meeting of February the 19th of 2025. If I can convince my slides to move, Confidential Computing Consortium is a community focused on open source license projects, securing data and use, accelerating the adoption of confidential computing through open collaboration. Every member is welcome. Every project meeting our criteria is welcome. We are a transparent and collaborative community. As members, contributors, and leaders, we pledge to make participating in our community a harassment-free experience for everybody, as you all know. And then also please note this meeting is guided by the Linux Foundation antitrust policy. If you have any doubts about this, please go to Linux Foundation and foundation.org antitrust policy, or reach out to myself for Renew. There's also training available on this, and let's behave ourselves according to the policy. I'm not going to read through the agenda to everybody's boredom, but it's quite a full agenda. This is our voting members, which we don't have to, we're not going to vote on anything specific. Let's do the welcomes. Rachel, I'll throw that over to you.
Yeah, hey everyone. Really appreciate the handoff, Rianne. So first of all, I would like to welcome Dan and Angela, who will be leading our marketing efforts. Dan and Angela, would you like to introduce yourself if you're here?
Yes, we're here. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Brown. I'm one of the marketing directors at the Linux Foundation. I've been with the Linux Foundation for about 10 years now, supporting a number of different business units and projects. So I am excited to be here with my colleague Angela, and we will be supporting all of the various marketing activities related to this outreach committee specifically, as well as others for the Confidential Computing Consortium. So really excited to meet everyone and to work with you in the days ahead. I'll let Angela say a quick hello as well.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Liu, and I'm really excited to be here as well. Heard a lot of great things about CCC before joining, so I'm really excited about joining this community and contribute anything that that's helpful for marketing. And let me know if there's anything that you need help with. I've been with the Linux Foundation for a year now, and I'm currently also on other projects like OpenSSF, Ultra Ethernet Consortium, and Overture Maps. So I have a background in blockchain and global affairs, and I'm passionate about everything about storytelling. So I'm really happy to join this community, and I'm currently based out of Toronto, Canada. But yeah, that's about me, and I'll hand it over back to Rachel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan and Angela. We're so excited to have you and we look forward to collaborating together. So any other new members here today? If so, welcome. We're very excited to have you here as well and look forward to your contributions. If you're new to the community or have not introduced yourself yet, please feel free to take this time and share a little bit about yourself and what interests you about the outreach committee, and love to get to know you. Do you have any new members here? And if not, then we can move on to next slide.
Thank you very much. And then over to the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Minutes have been sent out to the mailing list. We have received no request for corrections. If there is none announced here, we will approve the minutes. Anybody objecting or wanting changes to the minutes from the previous meeting?
I think we're good to go.
Hearing none, thanks, Ab. I will move on. And then confidential computing job site, and Rachel, over to you.
Yes. And so for the exciting news that we have, and the CCC website will soon feature a computational computing jobs page to help connect talent with opportunities in the space. And so you can check out the link here if you're hiring, and we'd love to have you to post your job openings. And to post a job, just reach out to the Linux Foundation staff, and then also join the conversation on Slack and hashtag computational computing jobs. And so really appreciate you could help us and get the word out and continue to build the community. And anything else that to be added here? If not, then we can move on.
Yeah, can I
Go ahead. I'll go quickly, Mike, and then so Dan and Angela, stellar performance. They got the board out already. So there is the board, 2 jobs on there. So we have a draft page to review for everybody. Mike, over to you.
That's fantastic. So I hope that once we've got it up, we don't need to review it each time we have a new job added, obviously. But I think this is a really good thing, particularly for startup members. If you're a startup member, do we have any startup members on the call today? This is a really cheap way of, I don't think we do, a cheap way of getting information about your company out and your jobs out. So let's make sure everyone knows about it, and certainly be a big newsletter item, I think, for this coming month.
Absolutely. And so the process that we will follow for now is if you have a job opening that you want to advertise, there's specifically a member benefit for CCC members of any category. And if you want to post a job opening, just reach out to myself or Renew, and we will help you get through the posting of a job opening. And also you can post by yourself, join the Slack channel and post over there as a member. Okay. If there's nothing else on jobs, I'm going to roll over to the next slide. So I will quickly talk about this slide. So we've announced a few times in the previous meetings for people to think about it. We have 2 opportunities to be part of the Open Source Summit and have a half-day complimentary mini summit, which we've done before in the past with reasonably good success. And there is limited space available. So from this meeting or otherwise, we'll have to do it on the mailing list soon and answer the question, do we want to do one or both, or which one if only one?
So a key thing here is these are complimentary. We do not pay for these. And it's fantastic for us, which means that all we need to do basically is organize things and get people to turn up. So I very strongly suggest we should do this. I think we'll like to have enough people there to organize bits and pieces. I expect to be at both of these, I think, or certainly the first one. And so, having people there to sort of compare and stuff shouldn't be a problem. Previously, this has gone down very well, so I can't really see why we wouldn't want to do this. So I'm strongly in favor.
It's just it's travel is the only cost, or do we have any other does the committee have to take on any other cost other than the attendees travel?
No, it's well, we don't need to pay attendee travel either, of course. I mean, our attendees, anyone who's going. It may be that we want to offer. We sometimes say if people have projects and they need a bit of help with travel, we have a small budget to help with that, but we don't have to. So it's pretty much I'm going to be there anyway, so my time and travel is going to be covered. So that's really about it.
The only other cost that we incur at these about, I think, $1,500 because we like to record the sessions and publish those as YouTube assets. So there is small cost there, but it's negligible if you consider all the freebies we get on top of this.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Good point.
Well, Rachel, what do you think? Should any objections to this other than I think we just have to make sure it's staffed and that we have a program for it?
Yeah, I'm also like to learn about the budgetary concern. Is there any budget allocated to this, and then would this cost us anything?
So that's the point. This is complimentary. The only cost we expect is for videoing it if we decide we wish to do so, when we probably should. It's about $1,500, as Rian said, and if we wish to give a grant to travel for anyone, that is it.
So the travel grant actually comes out of another budget, so it is not taking away any money from CCC Outreach Committee on the event budget. So your event budget is safe. So basically, you get this for under $2,000, being able to host your own event.
I mean, it sounds like a steal for as far as I'm concerned. So let's, Rachel, any I mean, like I said, the only thing that I think that we have to make sure that we have a lock is, do we have humans, or do we have a program? And Mike, it sounds like you are planning on being at both of these. So we have one of the key humans, and I think if we create a program, I think it's, we have, with your attendance, we probably have, the minimum viable, I mean, sorry, this is gonna sound horrible. We have the minimum viable
No,
presence to make a
that's
go
fine.
at it.
I
And
don't
then
mind.
any additional folks that can pile on, we'll just make it beneficial. Sorry, Rachel, I see your
Exactly.
hand up.
Yeah, I would also like to hear from our community members here, and if there's more interest of other community members and who are interested in going to this event. I think the more interest, the more compelling this opportunity will be.
So I suspect that
I see.
most of your companies will be exhibiting at Open Source Summit. It's a very big one. I would be so surprised if, Microsoft is not there and SUSE is not there and Intel is not there. So, you'll like to have people there anyway. This is just an extra half day.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
would propose to send a interest form and see if what companies are already planning to go to this event. So then that could help visualize and the
We need
interest
to make a
level.
decision today. We need to make a decision today.
I mean, Rachel, I would propose that it's a go. I mean, we've got Mike's going. It doesn't, I mean, the cost is microscopic. Mike is already going to be there. I mean, the minimum case scenario is Mike stands up and does a presentation for, 30 minutes on confidential computing to, an audience that's interested, and that is all goodness. And it didn't cost us any money that we weren't going to spend anyway. So,
And we've done this before, and that's exactly what happens. I will top and tail the event, and we find 5 or 6 talks to do in the middle, and that's great.
Yeah, I'm okay with this as well. And unless there's any objection, this is good with me.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's formalize this and move forward with to actually accept this as a project. So if anybody else wants to second.
Yes, we've got a thumbs up from Joseph, it looks like.
Okay.
Okay,
Any
so
objection?
what I will do is I will book both of these events, and then to follow on Rachel's proposal, then we send out a CFP for the first and the second event at once, and see earlier as possible whether we're going to have. So in America, I have no concerns about filling up the American slot. I have a little bit of concern for Europe. Mike, you'll probably have better opinion about that. And if Europe is an issue, we can also.
I don't think we'll have a problem. We've got quite a lot of startups in Europe who like to be there, and people like SUSE, and are based in Europe anyway. So I don't think we'll have a problem filling it up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. It makes total sense.
Cool.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will move forward with this with Renew. Okay, next item on the agenda, Confidential Computing Summit. Rachel, you want to talk about this one?
Yes, certainly. And so for the CC Summit, the call for speakers is open. So please submit your talk before March 7th. And I already included a link to submit in the slide. And so please feel free to submit your content there. And second of all, and CCC is a platinum sponsor this year. And so please fill out the interest form. I included in the slide as well. And then to see which areas you're interested in participating as a platinum sponsor. And we have 1 keynote session and 2 breakout presentation track sessions, as well as booths And so we really encourage you to submit your ideas, submit your paper into those sessions, and also help with booths. And it's going to be really beneficial for you to and publicize your computational computing initiatives, anything that you would like to share with the community and the broader audience. And last year, and I went to the event, and it was a lot of people who were attending. A lot of the key industry players were there, so it's really great opportunity to just like showcase your stories. So that's it from my end. Any other add-ons from the team?
Yeah, I'd just say that I would love at least one of these sessions, either the keynote or the breakout, to be a panel. I would like to do a panel on possibly Web3 or because that's getting a lot of attention at the moment. But if people have other ideas, please shout. But panels are good, and I'm very happy to moderate.
I think
was
that's
all-
I'll second that one. I think the Web3 stuff and the ad tech stuff I think are really interesting, but I think the Web3 folks, at least as I can tell, are a little more talkative.
Yeah, and I happen to know we have a number of Web3 things going on in the near future. So possible news in the next week or two around that. So let's say that's what we want to do. Rachel, when do we need to get the information back about the platinum sponsorship pieces, the session and the breakout ideas?
Yeah, so from my meeting with them, there was no indication of when the deadline will be, but I will get that sorted out with them offline, just to get
Thank
the
you.
content submitted ahead of time.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
you're
also
welcome.
about the booth, last year the booth was quite popular with members. So the booth was actually staffed by members. So jump on the opportunity, use the talking time and the lead collection at the event. It's really a great event. Mike, and then another question. The poster sessions was also very popular last year, and you did one. What was the arrangement there? And Rachel, do you know if they're going to happen again this year?
So for are you talking about the research, like the
Yeah, well, it was partly
that's going to
research.
be-
Also, a number of talks that weren't accepted were offered poster sessions, which were okay. But basically, it's so you put a poster up and you stand by it, and people get to talk about it. It's perfect for research things, not always as good for sort of sessions which weren't accepted.
Yeah. And so I do have an answer for that. And so for the poster sessions, and last year, the reason why they hosted the poster sessions because there were a lot more papers that were submitted than the slots that they had. So they had this poster session to kind of schedule those extra and papers that weren't and approved for speaking or presenting. And so this year they're currently and based on the number of submission or session submission that they've received, and there's extra spot, and then they will be hosting the poster session. So for now, I think the answer is a maybe to that, but they also list the poster session on the sponsorship tier package, and so I would expect that to happen. And then, but if all the slots are is scheduled for like paper presentation, then I don't think that there's going to be additional poster session. I hope that
Okay.
answers your question.
It does.
Great.
Thank you.
Because I wasn't sure how they got there, and yeah, that could be a good idea. So it's not in our hands to apply for that.
So a good question on the breakout session of the idea panel, on the CCC panel. How can we submit ideas to use it to you, Mike? And thought, how do you want to proceed, or how we typically proceed?
Yeah, so please fill out the interest form, indicate like
Okay.
which sessions that you're interested, and then we can coordinate and find the interest group, and then and
And
further plan and as we get more details from the CC Summit.
Got
That's
it.
good.
Okay.
Fantastic. If there's nothing else on this topic, I'm going to roll over to the next event. You're on mute, Rachel.
Thanks for that. And so for the AI Summit, and today I would like to have your approval on the AI Summit custom package proposal. And so for this package proposal, that includes both virtual and on-site engagement opportunities. The budget has already been allocated and approved for this event. So I would like to post an update on the proposal here for visibility. If there are no objections in today's meeting, we could move forward with contract signing so there's no delay in the process. Just quick rundown of what's included in the custom package proposal. And first component is a virtual component, and we have the opportunity as CCC to moderate and host 2 to 3 sessions, but realistically 1 session given the budget constraint. It's invitation only digital roundtables for 8 to 12 and decision makers such as DPO, CISOs, privacy leads, and those are going to be invited by the AI Summit, and so we don't have to worry about like inviting those vocals, and so each session costs $17K each, and then the topic we previously proposed are around financial services, healthcare, and cross-industry section for data-centric organizations. And for the second component is on-site component, we're proposing so they're proposing the participation of $52K for the full package that includes a 45-minute computational AI panel discussion in the enterprise AI track, and also a 60-minute trustworthy and computational AI workshop for 20 to 30 enterprise data innovators, AI leaders, and machine learning engineers. So that is included in the package. We'll be able to get all of them, and that also include like the booth and like the VIP spot and a demo space. And that's kind of the detail and the rundown. And if there's no objection, then we can proceed with contract signing. And so let us know your thoughts.
So which one are you proposing? Both of them, or
Yeah, both of them. So the current
okay.
budget would fit the both of them, and the price was already negotiated much down within our budget range. And then now I'm currently working with Rianne to confirm how much it would cost us to have the booth. And I think that needs the answer from Linux Foundation. Once we get the answer, and I can further negotiate down the price to make sure that we have as many sessions, as many opportunities as possible in the budget range.
And who's running this? Is this Kisiko Research again, or is this who's running this?
The contact I had was Thomas, but I don't recall.
Yes, that's Kisiko Research. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. So they're the ones who did the pet summits before. So they seem to run a pretty good show generally.
Question on the content itself from a CCC perspective, what would be needed? What are we planning on presenting? Or just attending the panel, especially the on-site part?
Well, I think we'd be expected to put together the panel, and it's the sort of thing that I'm always very happy to moderate. I don't need to be the moderator, but if we're looking for someone to do it, I'm happy to do that. And we'd need to get members, or not necessarily members, but if members want us to be involved, we can certainly do that. That often works very well. So I can, we also, I think we've just recently announced we're going to have a new TCA, a new technical community architect, who might also be involved in, co-leading a focus workshop, for instance. So in terms of staffing, I would expect to be there and helping out with that, but we basically need members to step up, or we need to find non-members, because sometimes it's good to have non-members, part of the larger ecosystem, and or project, open source project members too can be good. So I think that's the way we tend to run these things.
And for for example, I don't think Andy is not sponsor of the event, but do we have any? Because I'm personally potentially interested to join up, being there in person. Is there any discounts for the passes or things like that through CCC or not? I mean, if not, it's not a problem. I'll obviously cover it, but
We
just
tend to get some. Do we know if that's part of the deal?
Yeah, we will get passes, and so we'll get that includes like VIP passes and also the passes complementary to the conference attendance.
Okay.
Okay, any objections to us pursuing this event?
No, I think we should move forward. If can I make a request? This is general, not on this event. I think for us to make decisions, and I know we've talked about this event before, so it's not news to me. But I think it would be good to, as a general on any topic, to start having an agenda ahead of the meeting. At least that maybe since it's bi-weekly, maybe 2 days before, since we're meeting on Wednesday, so that we come with clear position or questions so that it's more productive. So that's my request to the committee. I'm supportive of this, but I'm just saying, like, making a decision on the spot is not necessarily always good thing.
I
Yeah,
agree
sure. I
with
mean, as you
Ab.
point out, we have raised this one before. We are trying to make things more available somewhat early, but it's not always easy. Partly because this is run by volunteers, right? People have other jobs too. But yes, it is, as you say, good practice to do that. And we are trying to increase our ability to do that.
No, we will try and get the agenda put together earlier in the week, and if we have it ready before the meeting, I agree. And then also not put up an event once and expect people to react. This one we've been carrying about 3 meetings now, so maybe
100% is not a criticism. It's more
No.
just trying to improve how we are doing things. That's all.
No, it's definitely makes sense. If we can get it arranged between myself and the chairs, and Renew, we'll try and get slides out earlier.
Sure.
Or at least a pre-read email that says this is the topics we're going to discuss, which
Yeah, I
might
think
be
the agenda
easy.
would be enough. Not necessarily. I'm not expecting necessarily. And to your point, that's why I'm saying this is not a surprise to me. We've been talking about it for several sessions now. So, but my comment was general about all the topics. So,
Yeah.
especially the agenda. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a suggestion might be that as part of the agendas, we should enumerate, decisions that we need to make in
Yeah.
this session. So like, today we're basically up against the ones at open source summits, the breakout session at open source summit. This one, we've got this IDC go no go thing. It would be good to have. It's like we should just enumerate what are the decisions that we need to close in this meeting, and that one, it'll focus us, and two, give everybody the chance to weigh in with a decision, weigh in with a viewpoint if they have one.
And to reiterate, I'm supportive of all these, just to be clear.
Cool. Thank you. No, these are fair points. Those are fair points, Thomas.
Yeah, we've still got some ground to cover. So Rachel, on
Yep.
the next event.
Yeah, so for the OSFF, and then again, and if you're interested in participating, and I will also send out interest form. And other than that, there's no new updates for this.
And it's fairly far out, so we can still sit on this one for a little while if we want to think. The committee wants to think about it some more. Okay. Next topic.
Next topic is calling for monthly newsletter submission, and this is for the month of February. And last month, and we published January newsletter, and really appreciate those who submitted the content and to that January newsletter. And so for this month, and we would like to invite the community again to actively contribute to these initiatives by submitting use cases, sharing insights, and engaging at upcoming events. And please use the form in the slide and to submit any content for the month of February and future months newsletters. Thank you. That's for the slide.
And to Mike's point, I think we should definitely remember to put the job page in the newsletter.
Sorry, for the newsletter, is there a cutoff date for every month? Like, say, I don't know, mid 20th of each month, or I'm just wondering what's the cutoff date, if there's anything, so that becomes a forcing function.
Yeah, so we usually publish at the end of the month, but for the content to be finalized, and that's like a week ahead of the publishing date. And so we plan to kind of include all the content that was submitted before then and to be included in the newsletter. And then for other content that's submitted later on, and you can schedule it for like the future newsletter. And so it's indicated in the form which month that you want the content to be included in, so then we can help plan those content ahead of time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rachel. And the next topic is for Mike Ferren-Jones about Wikipedia updates.
Yeah, and so before Mike chimes in, I added some content here for the call out. We would like the community members to review the Wikipedia page to ensure it aligns with our concurrent messaging guide and use cases. So please make the edits in the Google Doc that's linked here, and please review and make edits in the Google Doc Wikipedia edit suggestion, and review and complete edits by February 28th. So I also included a Wikipedia page link and messaging guide link. So Mike Ferren-John has been driving the Wikipedia page, so I'll let him lead the conversation.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. So we set up the author of the Wikipedia page, wow, year and a half, ago, I think. Guess I could look it up. I know exactly when it would happen. But the initial posting, let's see, 2023 is when we put it up, April of 2023. So since then, the confidential computing has continued to evolve, and that we've also got the new messaging guide, use cases, and things like that. So we want to make sure that the article on Wikipedia remains current and consistent with our messaging. So I would invite everybody to pop in and take a look at it, particularly those that worked on the messaging doc, and see if there's anything that we think we need to change to be consistent with the with messaging. Now, as I was explaining to Rachel, we have to be extremely careful about what we do in terms of edits to it, because all of us are conflicted authors. And so I've been super careful about the way that we go about, sorry, I'm trying to paste the link in here and talk at the same time. There we go. There's the link. So I worked with our Wikipedia consultant on this, and so I've kind of learned the ropes as to how to do edits as a conflicted author on this. So if you have a suggestion for something that you want to see changed, please go ahead and enter those into the documents and let me handle it through kind of the process. It generally involves, we have to post something, on the talk page, disclose that that we have a conflict of interest, give the community an opportunity to object or not object to it, and then after a waiting period, going ahead and making the changes with full transparency of telling people what we changed. And that way we can get around the kind of the Wikipedia, or we can safely navigate the Wikipedia conflict of interest policies. If this page is perceived as basically a propaganda piece for a bunch of commercial interests, they can take down the page, they can ban certain authors and contributors. So we just need to be diligent about it. Anything that we post too, we really went out of our way on this one to make it a high quality article with just about every sentence in the thing backed by a citation, and a citation to an independent third party article. So for example, saying that confidential computing is this, and then providing a link to the Confidential Computing Consortium is like a circular reference. And so you either have to write the sentence in a way that says, according to the Confidential Computing Consortium, confidential computing is defined as this. Or if you're going to cite a use case, you want to it ideally be cited in a commercial report or a news article about that use case that shows kind of independent or non-captive of that particular fact. So go ahead and take a look, take a scan. If you see anything that needs to be changed, let us know.
Thank you, Mike. And the links will also be in the slides when we send it out later. Next topic is again for Mike.
Okay, so we had we brought this topic up a couple meetings ago about bringing in some more discipline and measurement around what the outreach committee is doing, so that we know, how are we doing? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing well, or do we need to change our tactics, or try some different things to see if we can increase our results? So, there's a couple important pieces of any kind of a metric strategy. First of all, you have to know if you want to measure metrics or choose what to measure, you have to know where you're going, right? And you also have to know what pursue how you're going to pursue your objectives through your strategy. So, and we had some interesting conversation last time we talked about this. I think that was 2 weeks ago, where we said, okay, what is the reason for being of the outreach committee? And I think we settled on this idea that it's actually 3 main objectives of the outreach committee with respect to confidential computing. The first is growing, market awareness and the use of confidential computing as a category. So, we want more people adopting the products and services and techniques that we evangelize through this organization. And some of the things that I thought were important to consider is, what level of technical knowledge do you need to have to be able to successfully do this? Because it varies by, I think it varies by objective. Now, just moving across the second, and being able to talk about the confidential computing technology takes about a medium level of awareness. I mean, I can do it, and I'm not a technical guy, so you can evangelize the benefits of it with just a moderate level of technical knowledge. Growing the membership is also an objective of ours. We want more organizations in the confidential computing consortium. Now, the technical benefits of that or the technical requirements are relatively low for that. But the thing that I think is a gap is the value proposition of why you would want to join. So Mike and I talked a little bit about this earlier, and we've got some things that you get when you join up, but I think we really would want to sharpen that for, hey, why would a business want to join our consortium? And then the third objective is growing awareness and participation in the CCC open source projects that are kind of housed under our consortium. And to evangelize any one of those particular ones, I think you have to have pretty intimate knowledge of the projects. But still, as kind of outreach generalists, there are some things that we can improve and measure, even if we're not geniuses about any particular project. Okay, let's back up to the first one, which is growing awareness and use of the confidential computing category. This one, there's no one metric because our tactics vary, but I thought about what are our largest tactical engagements that we do through this. And the first one is events. We focus our presence on a lot of events. And so what is the key metric of whether an event is successful? And I think it is you know, the mega measurement is the number of quality engagements. How many people did we reach with the confidential computing message? And then ultimately, how many of those people took some kind of an action as a result of hearing the message? So if our metric for an event is the number of quality engagements, how do we measure it? One, we want to measure things like how many quality conversations did we have? And we'll have to when we're really clicking into this deeper, you know, how do we measure quality? What's the call to action click through? So if at the end of end of each one of these quality conversations, we want to say, hey, we want to invite people to take an action, you know, come to this web page, do this particular thing, you know, how do we, you know, sign up for the newsletter? What was the click-through rate on the calls to action? So we invited so many people to do this. How many people actually did it? And then for some of these things, it's a little more passive, but you want to talk about things like what was our audience count for panels or in-booth presentations? If we say we participated in a panel, how many people were in the room and got the message? Mike, see your hand up.
Yeah, sorry. So when you're done, please put me in the queue. Sorry, that wasn't.
It's okay.
Right now.
I'm going to pause on events. Do you have a comment or question about events?
No, it's about the whole thing. So that's fine. Sorry.
Oh,
Carry
okay.
on.
All right. So second metric for awareness and the awareness and use objective is around content. And content that is not used is just, you know, random bits on the internet. Nobody cares. So the key thing is the utilization rate of the content. So that's going to mean for things like the newsletter, or the number of monthly views or downloads of that particular piece of content. I don't know if we have the capability of measuring things like time on page. So if somebody opens up a piece of content or a page, I don't know if we have the mechanisms in place to count time on page, but that is also a key metric that shows engagement. All right, so I'm getting the prod that I need to giddy up here. So let me make it real fast. Last one, in this category is social. So we do social posts. And what is the engagement of posts is measured by, you know, total number of people that saw it and the number of people that took the action that was called for in the post. Mike, let me just pop these last ones out and then I'll circle back real fast. Okay, membership.
Yeah, no
Membership, I think this one is pretty simple. There's one big number, which is how many new members did we get? And so it's recruitment is the metric as measured by, you know, new members per quarter, any existing member upgrades from, say, a lower level to a higher level of sponsorship, and then net annual gain and loss in members. So yes, we may be bringing new members in, but we're probably also losing members through non-renewal of things. And so are we on net on an annual basis gaining or losing? And then finally, on growing awareness and participation in the open source projects, the big one for me here on this one, as I was thinking about this, is findability, which is what are those projects and can you find them? And so things like, are they prominently listed in clear explanations on the website, and then the monthly views of the project catalog? Total project contributors, it's like how many people are contributing to those projects, and then probably some kind of a metric around the activity or energy rate. So, you know, a project that gets posted once and then nothing other happens is maybe less valuable and interesting than ones where there's lots of people reading about it, making contributions, more people coming into it, making contributions would be other ways to measure success. All right, Mike.
Yeah, it was just to say that about 6 to 9 months ago, I came up with the idea of having a benefits page. Why, you know, what benefits there are to being a member of the CCC, and that's useful to show people, but it's not very good because I mainly put it together, and this isn't what I'm very good at. So I'm hoping that we can improve it. And you know, one of the benefits is the job page, right? So we should definitely add that. So let's work on this, and because it could be a lot better. So that's all I'm saying. That's all.
And I think this is as we talked about in the sync meeting the other day. I think we just those are the things, but I think we want to frame it more in terms of the business value of joining up. And so
100%.
I think that would be the thing we would do. Okay. All right. So we could probably want to talk more about this in a future meeting, but I know we're coming up on time. So I just want to socialize this. If anybody had any comments or quick questions before we move on to the rest of the agenda.
Thanks, Mike, for all the work that you've put into this. This is really well thought through. And yes, when we have less events, I think we should have a thorough discussion, or less events to discuss, a thorough discussion about this. Sorry, Abba, I cut you off.
No. I was just saying, Mike, this is a great start. Thank you. I think it's a great starting point. So
yeah, and I think
yeah.
the trick, thanks guys. And I think one of the tricks on this is how, you know, it's like, you know, we can, you know, this particular page is sort of academic. It's like, how are you going to do it? You know, and so we got to make sure that we've got the metrics in place and the counters on the website and the tracking mechanisms to be able to show that we can get the data to measure it.
And I honestly think this is going to be really helpful for us as we plan new events and other activities, and then look back on whether they were worth doing. I think it's really very, very useful. Thank you.
Well, sorry, just one last. I know we're running out of time. Just Mike, how do you think about a dashboarding that at one point, because that would be accessible? Again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but it's something yeah, go ahead.
That's ultimately where we've got to get to, where it's like if we go to, you know, we do have a presence at FOSDEM. How do we come back 2 weeks after, you know, or the next meeting after, or 2 meetings after, and say, was FOSDEM worth it? And that's going to be a dashboard of metrics. And I think some of this has to take a lot of metrics there's a time element to it, which is you have to establish a baseline, because, you know, we don't know what's good or what's bad yet, but we have to establish a baseline, and then we can okay, I'm getting the hook here. So moving on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to push this, but
No,
okay.
something.
There is a few things that we really must still discuss today. So one is the IDC white paper. Rachel, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I just very quick update. And Linux Foundation legal team completed reviewing and revising the contract, and moving on to next slide. So currently there are some key terms that are to be agreed on by Linux Foundation and IDC. And legal team has a main concern around the limited use of IDC white paper after 12 months. So we'll get back to them and shortly, and hopefully we can close this item and by the end of this week.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I'll work with the chairs and with Mike to get those answers back to legal and get them back to IDC. So unfortunately, it's a bit of a legal back and forth. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, and just real fast, this is not a legal, you know, I think they're questioning the value. They're not questioning the legality, right?
It's a contract, therefore legal gets involved.
Okay, yeah, but I think they're not saying that signing up for this term of 12 months is illegal. I think what they're saying is, really, you know, I think this is lawyers getting in the business lane.
It's not just them. It was me. I raised the question as well.
Yeah, and which is fine. But I think this is not I don't think 12 months is a legal question. I think it is a business question. And if we say 12 months is too short, then we should go back to IDC and say we need 18 or we need 24.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically what legal did for us is read the contract and say, are you aware that this term, this term, and this term exists? So it's more of deciphering the legalese and turn it into proper questions that's normal.
Right. But I think it is a business decision,
yes,
not a legal decision. And so
agreed.
I think if we say, look, 18 months will get us to it'll get us to mid 2027 with this data. And I think by mid 2020, or am I doing the math right? Late 2026, second half of deep into 2026. Will we have wrung all the value out of it by then anyway? And I think if we negotiate for 18, I think we're fine.
Right. Thanks for that. And then Mike, sorry for the short spot at the end, but
No, that's fine.
the
It's just
India.
a quick heads up, really. So we are beginning to hear that the CCC, that the confidential computing might be a really good growth thing for India. India is very big in open source. It's the second only to the US in terms of open source developers. We've got strong anecdotal indicators of interest there. There are lots of systems integrators who we could be targeting, and huge developer interest in learning materials about anything new, frankly. There's also a big Linux Foundation push into India that we could piggyback on. So on the other hand, we don't really have strong quantitative data, and we don't have many existing members in India. Also, there aren't that many CSPs who are within the Indian market who you can use with CC. So I think it might be worth pushing into it, but I think we should wait for data from IDC or whoever it is that we do before jumping in with both feet. But we should certainly consider it. And if any members come across interesting leads or anything in India particularly, please shout. That's it.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Mike. And for interesting enough, both the jobs I've clicked off that page, both the jobs that's advertised by Red Hat is in India for confidential computing.
Nice.
Okay, so just a quick overview of the budget. So this is our budget with the events that we've been planning listed down below. The budget sits at just under 400,000, leaving us with 100,000 in the bank for later events. You ideally want to keep that buffer up because things always come up closer to the end of the year. Contract signing, we've signed already with the RSA and OC3. CC Summit, we'll have to discuss this week to get the contract out of them and get that signed. Infra Summit, we will look at the cost of the Aleph events and how much that will impact our decision, and then we can go in with the contract there. And Finos we'll discuss again in the next round. This is just events that we've already looked at. That's our planning schedule. I think we rushed through the whole thing. Rachel, any closing remarks from your side?
Yeah, any other business comments, questions from the community members here? Love to hear about your feedback and thoughts.
Have we closed on the logo refresh? Because I'm looking at the agenda. I know it was decided, but I didn't see any movement there. I don't know where we are with that.
Yes, and so the answer to that is yes. And the after collecting all the responses from the committee members and Jen and chose the design that was the most voted and already sent it over to the design team, and then they've already completed the creative design. And so now Dan and Angela, and they are continuing that effort. And so Angela and Dan can provide further and details here if you would like.
I think we
Dan,
have.
Angela? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
So I think
Sorry.
we have a couple of slides after this one. That's from marketing. Yeah, there we go. Dan, do you want to speak about that?
Yeah, so essentially we, just came out of this project. So in going through the status of everything, we spoke with the design team and they said, oh, actually, we finalized the approvals with Jen. So they were just in the process of putting the final design files together, just packaging everything up. So they just got those to us yesterday. So this is it. We're going to start rolling these out across the website and other properties, and just make sure that everything, newsletter, social channels, all of that is updated with the correct branding, slide templates, the works.
Thank you.
Dan, you guys planning on having even like a could be 2 or 3 pages of like brand guidelines and
Yes.
color palettes and stuff like that. that'll
That's
be rolled
already
out.
created as well. If you go a couple
Okay.
slides ahead, I think that we've got that in the deck as well.
Okay.
So those are just some examples, and then the next one, these are from the brand guidelines. There's a PDF with all of this specifically, but like you can keep clicking through if you like, Rian. So the different color variations, the clear space, do's and don'ts, color palette. So we'll be sharing all of that around
Okay.
as well, and make sure that's also updated on the website.
Thank you.
Perfect. And sorry, what's the ETA to get the guidelines out for, I mean, to the members?
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't send them out as soon as you all like, because they are done. We just wanted to kind of get all of the correct logos up on the properties first, just to make sure everyone's, nothing looks like you're using the new one and the website isn't on the new one. That was the main thing we were waiting for.
Because we discussed previously as well that OC3 is around the corner, and that would be great to have as well the signage as well, and because it's going to be hybrid this year. Just bringing that to your attention. Rachel and Mike, I was thinking maybe not for today, obviously, but I want to maybe discuss upon the opportunity to have a badge for the members, so that maybe, again, not mandatory, but for companies to promote that on their respective website. Kind of give a little bit of visibility. I discussed that internally in our company, and they're open to the idea, but they're just looking. But obviously, we have to decide what it means, right? What is the promise of, if we say, okay, you're a member of CCC, what that means. Anyway, just bring that up, maybe something to explore in the committee.
Nice.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
are- I like that idea. We are at time. Sorry, I missed your slide at the end, Dan. I didn't realize you put it behind the thank you slide. So next time, I think definitely revisit the brand slides and discuss the progress there, and revisit Mike's metrics for success slides. I think that's requires quite a bit of discussion.
Perfect.
If you don't mind, can we put on the agenda again the badge discussion as well for the next meeting?
Oh yes, and I'll add the badge as well. I'll copy the slides over and immediately add those things for next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you.
Have a
Thanks,
good one.
all.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, and welcome again, Dan and Angela. Have a great day, everyone.